Okay, super quick checkup here. We're going to go through some examples of what we can do with rectangles now. So notice first it's asking us if AC equals 14. So that's this little side over here. So go ahead and label it as 14. Then what is the length of BD? Well, we know that opposite sides are congruent. So here's how you would show the work. You would show that BD equals AC because opposite sides are congruent. And so we could say that BD is also equal to 14. Okay, what about if AD is 21? What is the measure? Oh, it looks like it got cut off there. You probably know what it's asking. What is the measure of BC? And we know that diagonals are congruent. Now, this is a new concept just in rectangles. So BC is equal to AD because diagonals of a rectangle are congruent. It's our new property we just added to the list. So since BC is equal to AD, we can say that BC also equals 21. And that's it. Okay, now next. A construction worker needs to put a rectangular window in the side of a building. He knows from measuring that the top and the bottom have a width of 3 feet. He also measured one length to be 5 feet. Oops. How about I put the correct spots? Oh, it does say top and bottom. Anyway, so the width, let me draw my window correctly. It's making the widths a little bit shorter. Okay, so the top and the bottom are 3 feet. Where did I just get that? Do you see here? And then they also measured one length to be 5 feet. What is the length of the last side? Obviously, it's just 5. A construction worker needs to put a rectangular window in the side of a building. And he knows from measuring the top and bottom that the width is 6 feet and that the side lengths have a side length of 8 feet. He measured one diagonal to be 10 feet. What's the length of the other diagonal? So remember that you've got 6 and 6 and 8 and 8, and he's saying one diagonal is 10. What is this other diagonal? And we know that diagonals are congruent, so we know that the other one is also 10 feet. That's it. Okay, measure of angle BAD. So remember, always trace this. BAD is equal to 22 degrees. What is X? This is just like we went through in the study guide right now. So we know that this triangle is an isosceles because of the fact that diagonals bisect each other and the diagonals are equal. So if I know it's an isosceles, I know that this little base angle up here is also 22. And we know that the measure of angle BAD plus the measure of angle ABC plus the measure of the middle, X, is equal to 180. So 22 plus our unknown is 44 plus our unknown. And then go ahead and subtract that from 180. So if I know this middle is 136, I can say that my X is equal to 136 because vertical angles are equal. How'd you do? Okay, for the next one, they gave us this 51. So we know that there's this other 51. So we can say 51 plus the unknown is 180. And 51 plus 51 is 102. Subtract that 102 from both sides. Did you get it? 78. And we know that X is equal to 78 because vertical angles are equal. Okay, finally, on this one, we're going to have to do an additional step. We know this is 40. We know this one's 40 because of the fact that rectangles have diagonals that are congruent and they bisect each other. So if this is 40 and this is 40, what's our unknown going to be? Sorry, and this is I'm going to give this another letter, y. So we know that y equals 100. But do you see that x and y are a linear pair that form 180? So when I subtract 100, I get that my x is actually 80. You know, on something like number 7, if you follow along in this video and you're like, whoa, that's confusing, start it over again on your own without looking at this response and see if you can get to the answer there on your own. Okay, here come our last 3. Here they gave us 38 and they want that x. Remember that we know that those 2 base angles are going to be the same. So 2x's plus 38 equals 180. And when you subtract 38 from both sides, we get 142. And when you divide by 2, we get that x is equal to 71. Next, we know that e in the middle there is equal to 62. So again, we get 2 x's. And I could write this like a different step. I could write it as x base angle x plus other base angle x. Sorry, is that a 62? Yeah. And that's where I'm getting these 2 x's. Does that make sense? Okay, last, same exact thing, 2 x's plus 66. So a couple things going on here. You definitely want to be able to set up the equation and then be able to solve the 2-step equation using the rectangle rules.